your head level. Check it with the level on all 4 lights, and you look at your cable here. This one has slid, which is the automatic here, has slid, allowing this side to be unlevel. The reason you had to go up with a crane and release it from the top at the weatherhead. If you look at the other one, see the difference in it. No cable showing. You can pull cable down, but this is normal stance. So what we do now is readjust that one with a hammer and bring that slide up and relock it. That levels the head. Might get a screwdriver for it.
Basically what you're doing is just unlocking
the automatic
sleeve.
And it should slide forward once it's unlocked. But it's had a lot of pressure put on it, and it may not release without touch loving care here. That's the problem we run into. Now I'm going to go just a tad higher because it's going to lock back. There it is. Getting a shock spring. Make sure the jam nut is tight, which this one's loose, so I'll have to tighten it up. Check this for corrosion. If it's real bad, I'll replace it. As it is now, I'm going to just use some spray grease to lubricate it so that spring will slide. And I'll take the glove and put it on here in a second and rub this around it. Then all these over time will tighten up. So what I do is I'll loosen these up just a little bit and spin it. See the corrosion coming out? I get them spinning good, and then I'll go in and oil them and make sure that this don't take them apart because you got tension on them. But I'll go ahead and oil this and then work the oil back and forth. And I do each one of these. Make sure your pin is latched. Check all your bolts on the tower mast here. Check your cables. This all gets greased. I'll use a spray oil, and then I'll put a heavy grease on here that's weather resistant grease by doing that. So I'll go all the way around each one of these loosened up. Then I'll come back and take these loose, and they're to the point this suspends pretty good, but I have some that's froze up. So what I do is I go ahead and take this bolt out. I put a block of wood in here to hold this tension out from the tower, and take this out, lubricate it, and put it back together. Once a year I do this. Again, you can see all the corrosion coming out of here, and I keep this loose. They'll, again, like I say, they'll work themselves back up. This nut's loose also, this jam nut. See, I can turn it with my fingers. And this is just over a period of time this happens. I think the wind does it. I have seen that bring them off, they get so tight with corrosion.
So you're saying you just leave those loose, you don't ever tighten them all the way up?
Right, because they've got to flex. As this moves up the tower, it gets smaller. As it gets smaller, this has to collapse in.
It's got the lock nuts on it so it won't come loose.
Right, these are Teflon lock nuts and they won't come loose. If you do get a bad one, it does come loose, I just replace it.
It doesn't hurt to have it loose.
No, don't have it needs to be loose so it can actuate.
You found them tight though.
Well, like
they
these.
don't flex like they should.
Right, this one is loose where I can move it with my hand, but the problem now is this piece is both. If you look real close here, you see the corrosion's built up and it's not moving at all. That's what I'm going to do is work this loose. There it goes. And that's what you want to do. And I check it again, make sure it's loose. Again, check for corrosion in the spring actuator. This part of it moves, so you want this lubricated real good. Check all your springs, all this again. You can hear this one squeaking. This is another one that's real tight. This is going to back out all the way out. See how much this is pulled up. This is your latching mechanism. This is a grease called Flamingo. It's designed for salt water and heavy water environment. I found it works the best. I'm sure there's other synthetics out there that do the same job. But it is a synthetic grease. And it seems to give me the best. Of the synthetics, this seems to be the better.
That's the latching mechanism when he hits the top up there.
Right, right. And this is a bad place that a lot of people don't grease it. And this is where I found a lot of reason we have to go up with a crane and unlatch it, because this will not allow the spin in the mechanism up there. And it's just a little safety thing I do that I found it helps. And at least I think it does anyway.
Well, metal to metal tends to hold itself.
Right.
You don't have something.
If you look at them, you can tell that us trying to get them loose. Now that's from being us trying to get them down before we got the crane on this one.
Right.
Or the wind activating rocking it's doing at one. I fought this thing about 20 minutes up there on the crane trying to get it loose. I found a dirt dauber nest was in there. I think it was a culprit on this one. You can use these. I got a spray called Pro Grease that I use. It's actually a grease that won't evaporate. Or you can use this grease on this actuating arm. It's a person's individual preference, I guess. This does wash off though.
That's just a slide mechanism when he goes up the pole, where the wheels that ride on the pole.
Yeah,
the spring just releases as it gets higher and higher to keep in contact with the pole.
And then like Jacksonville and other areas, even here, I found them where this is actually corroded and actually has swelled and won't allow it to work at all. And when that happens, you see this arm get bent. Lubricating this, I'll go back around with the impact and spin them.
What kind of grease is that now?
This is called Pro-Cam, just a spray grease.
Pro-Cam.
Yeah, Pro-Cam. It don't wash off very well. That's the reason I like it. Anything that is weather resistant, like pretty much.
That's approximately how long, once you get the device down, does it take to do this?
Usually about 45 minutes. Change out the bulbs. Listen, I got to put a ballast in. If I put a ballast in, it gives me about another 10 minutes.
So
we're looking at an hour per head. It takes 20 minutes to lower it, 30 minutes to go back up. So of course it's slower going up. Also check the gearbox. If I look in here and see any dripping of oil, gearboxes do leak. Well, I'll check those inside the head and make sure they're not leaking. If they are, it's just 90 weight gear oil that I put back in there. It's a simple 1/4 inch Allen wrench takes it out to put oil back in it. Holds about maybe a cup at the very most. And occasionally they do leak. Basically all we got to do on this one, the wheels are all turning good. I'm going to lubricate them and spin them a little bit. I'm just going to spray oil in there and scoot them around. Just taking them apart. And that spins pretty good. Grease down into the head and I'm tightening it up. And it works pretty decent. You can see it working the crud out of there now. See how it's turning color?
Get enough heat on it.
Tighten it up.
do.
Okay. And this one I just, well, this I can't get to, so I can do this one. I gotta get me an extension. And you see how easy this moves now. I can move basically real easy. You can see how easy it moves. The impact's not even grunting now. This is what I call the messy part. Ready? I buy nickel coated. I found these don't corrode into the socket, and I just put just a tad of lubricant on there, and about empty, just a little bit, and I just kind of rub it in the threads. And I found that they don't corrode in, and I have to take them in those pliers after they break and dig them out. Then I'll take glass cleaner, clean the globe inside. Stuff and stop.
Keep the crows from coming in.
Yeah, you can smell it. It's got it's made out of soybeans and plastic, or not soybeans. What red? Anything? Cranberry. I'm getting old, can't remember things. Put it on either side. This is where the crows build their nest at. You put it on either side, and they can't stand the smell of it. And keep them off. It works.